I got to admit, I was expecting a lot worse from how the Vikings and Broncos went at it in their, I think, both clubs' respective last preseason games of the 2022 season. I think it kicks off what is going to be even a lot more question marks for me as a Vikings fan, and just kind of looking at the Broncos, who actually look pretty good. Like the Broncos have edge rushers for days. It's nasty. It's absolutely nasty. But today we are talking about and recapping, if you will, standouts and fizzouts. Everybody's got their own version of winners and losers, but we got standouts and fizzouts because pop or soda, take your pick. I don't care. But pop is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Pop, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Let's try that again. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew. What's that? A Code Red Mountain Dew? Doesn't matter. I love all of it. I think it needs to replace water. So this is standouts, players that stood out, and fizzouts, guys that fizzled out or really didn't really impress. So let's jump right into it, talking about the Minnesota Vikings versus the Denver Broncos in preseason game numero 3. Cuatro? Tres? What? It's 3. Whatever. Never was good at Spanish. So we're going to take a look at this. So Kellen Mond, in my mind, I'm not ready to give up on him. I'm not. As much as I would like to see Sean Mannion out the door, I also feel like he has shown, he's been about as capable as Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond, of course, 10 of 17 for 102 yards. I felt like there was a couple times he held the ball a little bit too long. And if we want to talk about fizzouts, these two are fizzouts right away. Because the Vikings traded for, who was it, Nick Mullins earlier in the week. You needed a strong game from either one or both of these fellas, and neither one showed out. It's just, it's so frustrating. It's like they're each trying to just hand each other the backup quarterback job. I don't get it. I really don't get it because, Kellen Mond, the former third-round pick coming up, what was it, Texas A&M? I think at this point, I think he needs another year before we can kind of say it definitely is a draft bust, because I'm not ready to give up on him. The former Aggie? But I feel like, Sean Mannion, we know what he is. We know what he is at this point, and that's why I think that, that we've seen some good things from Kellen Mond. That first preseason game, maybe it was against the Raiders, if I am not mistaken. Maybe not. But there's times where he just plays like there's no tomorrow, and he plays well, and it's just like, and then it's the rest of it. You're sitting there, if you're me, just eating yourself to death with ice cream because you're your favorite team and cannot figure out the quarterback situation. By the way, best ice cream out there. Mint chocolate chip, Rocky Road. Let us know what you guys think. So Sean Mannion, though, like we said, we know what he is. It is kind of what it is at this point. He's a solid. I would say he's a borderline backup. He's nothing special. He's not going to be the reason you win the game, but at the same time, he's not going to be the reason you lose it. It's just your offense is going to be pretty vanilla toast when he's in there, but that is just how it goes. Now, in terms of running the football, I got a huge man crush on Ty Chandler. 5 carries, 44 yards. Had that big run to start out the game, or really early in the game. It really lit a spark into that Vikings second team offensive line, and I really feel like even guys like Bryant Koback, who had 14 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown. Kenny Nwangu also had 4 carries for 14 yards. Like, the Minnesota Vikings running back room in Ty Chandler and Kenny Nwangu is bright. Like, it is absolutely bright. So I'm really excited to see how they continue to develop and do their thing. In terms of receiving, Emir Smith-Marset, 3 catches, 63 yards, had a couple of nice catches, including an absolute dime from Kellen Mond. But at this point, Emir Smith-Marset probably has locked down that number 4 wide receiver spot. I feel comfortable in saying that. Zach Davidson having himself a nice bounce back game. I got to be honest with you. I felt like Zach Davidson was probably on the way out, but he really showed a lot to me. Had 4 catches for 47 yards as well. Tristan Jackson, 2 catches, 28 yards, and then Olabisi Johnson did suffer a torn ACL, which is it's just heartbreaking for a guy like that. He's got so much talent. He's been really fun to watch, but that's just absolutely tough. Defensively, Fizzouts, you want to talk about fizzouts? The Vikings running defense. I don't care. It's just a Jalen Twyman, doesn't matter. Everybody was a fizzout. Every single time the Broncos handed it off, it was just they were in the second level before you could say pass the piece, and the rest was history. It was just absolutely rough. But Mike Brown led the Vikings with 10 tackles. Miles Dorn had 6. It's not usually good when you've got 2 members of the secondary that kind of lead the way there. I don't think Mike Brown. I think Mike Brown is on the inside there, but it doesn't matter. It just was not a good game for the Vikings running defense. William Nkwenku, I really like him. I think he was going to be somebody that you really want to keep an eye on, but I don't know. The Vikings are they're kind of stacked at linebacker. We'll see how it all pans out. He had 6 tackles. Chris Boyd, I actually felt like he was kind of one of the only bright spots on this Vikings defense. Yes, he got beat a couple of times deep. I get it, but there was a couple of times that he stepped up majorly as well. Brian Asamoah, 7 tackles. I love BA. I do. I think he's going to be a fantastic player, for the Vikings. I think he's probably going to overtake. I would like to see him take over Hicks at some point this season, but it is what it is at this point. Josh Metellus, he's a solid backup. I'm glad that he's still around, by the way. Caleb Evans got beat on that first carry from Mike Boone to kind of seal off that edge, but it is what it is. He's shown a lot of good things this preseason. Luigi Valaine had that very nice interception with that pressure by Sezi Otomehu. Really love to see it, but as well as, you got to be honest about it. James Lynch had that encroachment on like the first play. I don't know, man. I don't know. Nate Harrison also getting on there some action. Jalen Twyman, a guy that I was really excited about, just has not impressed up to this point. Then Amir Smith-Marset actually showing that he might actually want to be the punt returner this year. Had a 21-yard punt return there. There were a couple, I believe, if I remember correctly, there were some fair catches that I saw that I'm just like, dude, go. What's the worst that can happen? Like, you fumble, you've already done that a couple times in these preseason games. Just go, have fun with it. But it is what it is. I don't think he lost the job. I don't think he necessarily gained it. But I think that they're probably going to roll with ISM moving forward, which I'm perfectly fine with. In terms of kicking the football, Greg Joseph had himself another dynamite night. Love to see it. Had 7 total points for the Vikings. That including that 58-yarder. He has been just nails. I love to see it. I think he's going to be a guy that really steps up for the Vikings moving forward. Also, punter Ryan Wright, arguably the best punter on the field in all of football. On all of football was it Saturday? That's right. I said it. 4 punts, 225 yards, 56.3 average. I think he had it was one punt that was like over 60 yards. I was down inside the 2. Another punt that was over like 50. Yeah, he killed it. I absolutely love to see it. So then we go over to the Denver Broncos side of things. Like, again, Denver just they just were able to run the football very well. They just ran so well, and it was honestly, I tried watching the tape. It was so hard. It was just so hard to watch. I don't know if it was necessarily run fits, if the linebackers weren't getting to their gaps, or if the defensive tackles weren't taking up double teams. It just wasn't pretty all around. It was just rough for the Vikings. But Brett Rippon, he's ripping it in there. 14 of 21 for 137 yards and an interception. Josh Johnson, who's basically been on every single team in the NFL. I still think he's low-key a stud, though. Like, he's a diet version of Michael Vick. I said it there. I always loved using him on, I want to say it was Madden 2011, 2012, because I would use him and then I would use Adrian Peterson on the Vikings. It was nasty. And then Devine Ozigbo here, 13 carries, 59 yards, had himself a very strong game, as well as Mike Boone, 5 carries, 44 yards, the former Viking, and then Jaquan Hardy, 4 carries, 23 yards. And then Montreal Washington, that end around for the touchdown, that was rough. They were just able to run the football at will, do whatever they wanted, and it was what it was. You couldn't stop them. So overall, a very good job by the Broncos for being able to run the football. I really don't have a lot of FIZZOUTS for the Broncos, if I'm being honest. Definitely a standout. Nick Benito, back-to-back sacks on, Timon Paris from the Vikings. Just beat him on a stunt. Blake Brandel was supposed to be there. He wasn't. Timon Paris also couldn't block him on the next play, so it was what it was at this point. So, I got to be honest with you. Jonathan Harris also had half a sack. Then Delarin Turner-Yell also added a sack for the Broncos. And then McTelvin Agam had a sack, as well as Jonathan Cooper added half a sack. So half a star. You gotta love that movie. But overall, this Broncos defense was flying around, making plays. Absolutely love to see it. So I'm really excited to see what a lot of these guys do moving forward. Guys like Nick Benito, who, and again, this entire defensive line for the Broncos is stacked, so I'm really excited to see it. So then obviously, yes, Brandon McManus doing his thing there. So it is just kind of one of those things where both teams had guys that needed to step up. Some didn't, some did. It was great to see, but overall, but that is it. That is our standouts and FIZZOUTS, because pop or soda, yes. So tell us whatever it is that you guys want. Well, tell us what type you drink. Mountain Dew, Coke, doesn't matter. Let us know what kind of pop you guys drink, or soda, sorry. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are truthfully awesome. And let us know if we missed anybody that stood out or fizzed out to you guys. But also remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of Standouts and FizzOuts for the Minnesota Vikings versus Denver Broncos preseason game.